Hello everyone, this is Mohammed Shabib, Executive Director of PNI Qatar, and I am back with the Coffee with the ED session, and this date is 12th of June 2021. 12th of June 2020, 12th of June is a good date for me because this is the date that I registered my first company in Qatar in 2006. So it's 15 years now, actually, since I registered my first company in Qatar. So, it's an anniversary date for me right now, Steve. Anyway, like going ahead, let's just look at the questions today. There are some really good questions that we have, which we would like to answer well. And I'm going to start with the question which Steve has put forward, which is the fifth question over here. Is it too close? Is it too loud, you mean? Is it a bad thing? Maybe you just need to reduce the... It's not audible. Am I not audible? Okay.
Not very clear, yeah.
Yeah, now it's clear. Perfect. So, Steve, your question, how do you maintain business relationship with members when you give but don't get in return? Okay. Well, this is a good question, especially when you set the context of it. I know you have been a member for some time, but you got stuck in your home country and then you just come back and you started doing one-to-ones. So let me ask you something. What is the maximum number of one-to-ones you have done with one person? Two. Okay. So, in sales, there is something that we call as touch points. You know what is a touch point? So a touch point literally means the number of times you have had contact with the client. And these basically would be number one, phone calls. Okay. Number two could be emails. Number three, it could be in-person meetings. And now in the age of social media and messaging apps, I would call it WhatsApp messages also. Okay. Messages. And number five, social media. So if you have social media pages, a client sees you on the social media pages, that also works. Now the other one would be, is there anything else that I'm missing in this? No, I think that we covered five things that usually which we call as a touch point. Okay. So in BNI also, when you are starting to develop relationships, what you really have to understand is it is these touch points that builds the relationship. Okay, because when people get into a relationship, it usually doesn't happen based on just the number of meetings, but it develops based on the content and the duration of these meetings. Okay, content and duration. Now, the duration, the longer it is a social call. Okay, social call. What happens is you'll see that the relationship is building, but then will it convert into business? It converts into business based on the credibility that you're building with the person. So if the person sees that you are a credible person, it builds up. Now, one of the things that I will suggest to you to see at this point, because effectively you are right, you're only developing your relationship now. Yes, you were there as a member, but you were not visible to them because you were in your home country. Your substitute was coming quite frequently. But now since you've come back and you just started off, expect some time for this to build up your social relationship as well as how they see you. And this will require you to invest your time in building this through these touch points. And usually what I see is for an effective relationship to start taking off, basically for you to essentially start getting good referrals, just like how it is in sales to get a good customer, start getting a good referral partner, it takes anywhere between 6 to 10 touch points. So you understand this. So it would be multiple phone calls over which you develop the relationship. It could be emails that you can send to that person. It could be the in-person meetings. It could be the WhatsApp messages, and it could be also how you connect over social media. So if you are creating this and the person has done, 10 touch points, up to 10 touch points, what happens is from anywhere from 6 to 10, it kickstarts the relationship Till then, what it is an acquaintance. I hope I'm writing this well. It's an acquaintance. You're an acquaintance. You're somebody they know. Okay, you're somebody. Okay, let's write it in this way. So to make it better, you're somebody at the beginning. So if you call this as the 0 point, and you put the touch points on a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I got it right. So 10. What happens is from 0 to 5. If you just look at this as an incremental, like a volume control, where you're starting from 0 and you're going up till 5, till you reach 5, what happens is they know you. They know you. Okay. From 5 onwards, like 6 to 10, from 6 onwards, what happens is they start to like you. Okay. And from when it reaches anywhere from 6 to 10, anywhere beyond 6 to 10, there's a point at which they start trusting you. Got it? At that point, the relationship is established. And at that point, it becomes into a level where you're actually starting to gain from the relationship. Now, in BNI, what we say is to reach here, we usually suggest that you start giving. Okay. So how do you start giving? So when you actually walk into your relationship, I just need to do something. Once I'm back. So the best way to kickstart your relationship over here is to start giving. Okay. So when you're going for your one-to-ones, what you do is you prepare a list of your top 10 clients. Okay, prepare a list of your top 10 clients. Also use a gains sheet. So have you prepared the gain sheet? Steve, have you prepared your gain sheet?
Yes, please.
You have prepared your gain sheet?
Yes.
You have.
Previously I wasn't, but the last two one-to-one I did.
Excellent. So prepare your gain sheet, prepare your top 10 clients sheet, and also prepare a bio sheet. So when you prepare these sheets and you send this across, even before you're going for a meeting, what happens is this starts setting your credibility in a big way. Because people are able to read through and know who you are, what you are, and what's your capability. Especially with this top 10 clients list, what happens is people understand that you're going in with the power to give. I'm not saying that everybody in BNI are doing this right now, because most of them don't know. You have asked this question, which is why I'm able to tell you that when you start going in with the power to give, it starts building both the visibility and the credibility part. Got it? So visibility and the credibility part is built, and this leads to profitability. Okay. This doesn't happen in 1 month, Steve. Usually what happens is it starts from the day one of the membership and the member being there in the membership and being there in the room. So right now, you're just here for 2 weeks since you got back. Just kind of see it as your membership starting now. And you are on the curve of starting your relationship building right now. And do these touch points multiple times so that you are able to take it forward. And see how many times you have done it. And don't expect many miracles to happen before the 5th touch point. So it will be multiple phone calls, maybe an email, maybe an in-person meeting. But moving in with this top 10 clients list, always what I've seen is it starts setting the ball rolling in terms of getting more reference for yourself. Okay. So the other part is, now let's say that you have been spending some time, you have done what is required, but the other person is not reciprocating. This is where we have somebody called the member relations coordinator. We have somebody called the member relations coordinator or the member relations specialist in the membership committee. Okay, so what this person can be used for is you can approach the member, the vice president of your chapter, and tell him that I need help in basically taking my relationship with so and so to a next level. I've been doing so and so. Is it okay if I request a member relations specialist to kind of assist me in setting this up? And then what you could do is you could actually have that person also joining in a meeting and actually kind of, I'm not saying mediator kind of a thing, but kind of a driver. The member relations specialist becomes a driver in driving of the relations between you and setting the accountability part in place. A major part of our BNI membership is also about the accountability that we bring into the relationship. Some people, as you said, yes, they do get too busy, but then use the process. With the solution for any problem that you're facing in growing your business through BNI to get referrals is available within BNI. You just need to know where to look. Ask for it, and people like me, like your executive director, are here to guide you. So now there's a good chance that the member relations specialist has not done this before. So what he could do is he could ask me for an assistance saying that Shubhi, I've received a call from so and so asking for assistance in building relations. Can you show me how it is done? Then what happens is for the first meeting, there will be 4 of us. You, the other member, the member specialist, and me. My role is to coach the member specialist how to do this with the other 2. And I show you guys how it is done the first time. And once I show you guys how it is the first time, what happens now, 3 of you are now empowered to take it forward. Okay, this is how we set the ball rolling. It has to start with some action. And the question is, are you ready to take that action? Get it done. Believe me, nobody's going to judge you. The only thing you're doing is you are setting yourself and the other person up for success in growing your business with your relationship with each other. There's no shame in doing that. Use what is there in BNI to do that. All right. Does this answer your question, or is there still anything else that I have left unanswered for you?
Yeah, it has the question is answered, but
you're breaking up. I'm not able to hear you properly. Yeah, now you can see it.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is answered. Probably, maybe because of my situation, like considering the fact that I've been away for some time and I've just got back and all that. But when you look at it from the other aspect, right now there are many opponents, for example, and that is when I talk about my category in BNI. And if there is any member who should get more referrals, I think I should be one, and the other person should be maybe people under the ticketing category or airline category. Yes. Because when you look at this category, you realize like that basically every member is in need of our services.
I understand, but my suggestion to you is, one of the things that I always tell members is when you join BNI, do not look for customers in the room. Because what many people have a hesitation within BNI now, I'm not blaming you or the others or anybody, but the hesitation that most people have is they do not see themselves as customers in the room. They see themselves as people who want to grow their business. So if you look at the room, if you look at your BNI members, everybody is in the room to actually sell. Nobody is here to buy. So members in the room usually don't like being sold to, even though they may have the need for your service. So how do you overcome that challenge? And that's a very good question. I understand why your question is going, and this is what you want to know, right? Like there are people in the room who needs your services, but they're not ready to buy from you. They don't realize that they need your services. Yeah. So the thing usually what happens is, my first suggestion is don't try to sell in the room. Be happy even if nobody in the room buys from you. Because the first thing that BNI tells you is, it's not the people in the room who are your customers, it's the people who are not in the room who are your customers. Then what are you doing here? What you're doing here is basically to get the reference to the people who are not in the room. The members in BNI love helping each other. Your referral partners. Got it? Your referral partners for each other, and you love helping each other. Use that. So that's why I'm telling you to actually go into a meeting with your top 10 clients. And I'll add one more thing, your top 10 wish list. What's your wish list? And you remember what? Your top 10 wish list. Okay. Yeah. You remember when we had the one-to-one, I told you how to create a wish list.
Yep.
Who is that company similar to your biggest customer? Who is that company similar to that medium customers? And who's the company that gives you bread and butter? And always educate your members on who can be your customer. Like, why are they your customers? When you start talking like this, what will happen is your fellow members, your referral partners will start realizing that they have the same problem that you are trying to resolve. Got it? They have the same problems you are trying to solve for others. Got it? And when they realize that you have the same problem, they will basically start buying from you. Now, there's a good chance that at the level that you are providing a service, you're charging a fair amount for the services which you're providing. Your fellow members are expecting these same services at a lower price, which is basically where I say that not all your fellow members qualify as your customers. What happens as a pitfall over here is what we see is usually just to please the members and in the need to build the relationship, many people start providing the services at a lower price. That's not a good place to be in, especially for the fact that since now you're trying to develop a relationship and a friendship which will lead towards more business, when you start giving your services at a lower rate to your fellow members, the demand on the quality that you have to provide is much higher than a normal client over here. Because there's a scenario that BNI puts you in. Got it? So it is always better to say, is it okay if I told you why I am charging you so much, and take it to a relationship where the member is ready to accept that cost. Again, let me tell you, your goal here is not to make your fellow member a customer. Your goal is to get referrals to the other customers. It's always okay to say in a very polite way, saying that I will not be able to meet your price requirements. So let's just say that I will help you with this only on the basis of being able to just deliver to what you require exactly at the price you say, but please do not expect me to go beyond this, because if you want the full spectrum of my services, this is my charge. So cater down your service and give your offering very specifically worded in your quotation to what is the price expectation of your fellow member. Okay, and put it in place that any extra services will be add-on charges. So what happens is the member knows what to expect from you and what not to expect from you. Okay, and then always guide the conversation to a level where forget about you buying from me. Tell me who is it that you want as a referent. So let's say that you and I am having a one-to-one. I am a fellow member of yours, and I have a requirement, but I cannot spend the money that you require for the same services. And you do not want me as a customer now, right? Because my price is too low for you to provide your services. Yes or no? Would you want me as a customer? What your intuition is telling you, don't let go of Shabib because he's your BNI member. Give him at the lower price. But what I'm telling you is take control of your intuition and take control of your emotions at that time. Change the conversation. How? By saying that I might not be able to provide the service you're looking for at this price right now, but tell me who is the customer you're looking for right now? What referral can I give you which will help you not just grow your business, maybe even pay for my services at the price that I'm quoting? What happens now? Think about it. Does this sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Right. So what is happening is you're creating a win-win situation. What you're telling them is, I'll help you with getting a referral to a client that you require. And at a stage where you feel, okay, this is making sense, let's move ahead with the services that you require from my side at that time. Okay, so these are small nuances of strategies that you can use, but it always requires you to be on your feet in terms of thinking how to take the relationship to the next level without sacrificing your revenue as well as your time, but also adhering to the framework of BNI. All right. So I think this kind of gives you ideas on how to develop the relationships, even in an awkward situation where somebody says, "Oh, if I can't buy from you, how can I refer you?" At that time, you offer your referral. You tell them, "So tell me how I can help you grow your business." And then what happens? The door still remains open, and the door will, the relationship will still grow on. That's what Givers Gain is about. Okay. Now I would like to see if anybody else in the room can also contribute, add on to my answer. If there's anybody else, Tulsi or Jafar, if you are available and you want to add on to my answer, or is there something that you want to pick on in my answer, please let me know.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you heard what I said, right? And what do you think?
Actually, the first few points I just missed out. I just joined a little late. But I think whatever I just, read through on this top 10 clients wish list and then bio gain sheet and all the stuff. And also the point about you raised on, it's not about, compromising or satisfying. It's about, getting the referrals from outside. Actually, all are very good points. So I really like it, actually, the way you explain on that. So which is nice.
All right, great. So let's park it for now, Steve, and we'll just move on to the rest of the questions. I know many of the participants are not here, but still we'll answer these questions because I believe these fantastic questions. Now let me ask Tulsi. Tulsi, what's your question in this list? Which one was your question?
No, I don't think I did send it. Maybe I was.
You had a question.
Is it or?
Yeah, you had a question. One of these is your questions.
One minute. Okay. No, yeah. Sorry. Too many things. I think how to manage our management expectation.
Manage expectation and drive well.
Yeah. So sorry, too many things.
This is not strictly a BNI question, but I'm going to give you some points from whatever I can share. So the question is how to manage our management expectation and drive employee productivity and also loyalty. So, I keep telling people about this, okay? When we talk about management expectation, most of us are like thinking about how can we do some smart work, right? We are working very hard. How can we change that to smart work and ensure that we are able to actually get to a point where it becomes easy for us to manage things, and also how do we get our employees also to start doing smart work. Now, many a time what people think is that smart work is about reducing the workload or managing working less and creating more. All these things happens. The fact that most people miss this, smart work is actually a combination of two things. Okay, what's the first thing is smart goals. Okay, plus hard work. And some smart guy removed these two things because he wanted to make it sound easy and only put these two things together. Because setting a goal is a bit of a hard work, and hard work is hard. So smart work is actually having the right goals, the smart goals, and working hard to make those goals happen. But what happens when you have a goal? So what is a goal and how do you work hard on a goal? So most of us have a dream, right? We have a dream. My dream is to be such a big company or so on. So this dream, you need to write it down. When you write it down, you know what happens? It becomes a goal. Okay, but it becomes only a goal when a smart goal, when you are specific about what you want to achieve. Okay, when you know how to measure. So, for most people, for most business owners, what I've seen is the measurement part, they miss it out. They're not measuring how to reach there. And measuring is basically mostly we have to look at how is our finances doing. You need to really learn how to get your finances up to date so that you can actually start tracking your cash flow, profit and loss, and balance sheet on a weekly basis. Okay. And if you get that system in place, you can measure things. Is it achievable? Now, if somebody comes to me and says, I want to double my sales, or, you know, okay, let's give you an example. Somebody comes to me and tells that, Shabib, I want to save 10 million riyals in the next 5 years. Okay. Let's assume that one of you is telling that. So if you need to get to 10 million riyals in 5 years savings, the first year, how much should you be saving? You should be saving 1/5 of it, right?
Yeah.
Now we know the thing about compounding, but keeping that aside, you would be saying, okay, the first year I need to save 2 million riyals. And then I ask them, okay, how much does that mean in terms of monthly saving? Then they tell me it's 166,666 riyals per month you need to save. Then I ask them, how much are you saving right now? And then some of them tell me I'm not saving anything. Some of them tell me that I'm saving 10,000 riyals or something. Or sometimes they tell me, you know, I'm having a deficit of 2,000 riyals per month, right? I am borrowing for 2,000. So that's the case, right? So does this mean that this goal is not achievable? This goal is achievable still. But the part you're missing is where you need to start right now. This is your starting point, okay? This is your starting point. And where are you right now? So let's say you're saving 5,000 riyal right now. This is your real starting point. Your journey to this 10 million goal starts after you have closed this one. So this has to become your goal number 1. Where do I start my journey to my final goal? Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So what most people miss is that part. They miss the part about how do they reach the starting point of their main goal. And most people don't set a plan for that. And when you set a plan for that, that's when it becomes achievable. Suddenly now it's achievable, right? Now you know, okay, from 5,000 I need to reach 166,000, which might take me another 5 years, which is fine. But the moment I hit 166,000 riyals per month, then my journey is only 5 years away. Got it? But how much time will when are you going to hit 166,000? Most people miss that. For this, you need to have a result-oriented plan. Okay, a result-oriented plan. And you need to set the time bound. It should be time bound. By when? Okay. So this is what is SMART. So it becomes a SMART goal. Now a goal, when you break it up into,
when you just say specific, is like we specify what do we really want to achieve it.
Yeah, so 10 million riyals is being specific.
Okay.
How do you measure it? How much are you saving per month? Is it achievable? It's not achievable. It's only achievable once you reach 166,000. So how do you reach 166,000? You need to create a separate plan for that. Got it? Is it result oriented? So result oriented requires you to make a plan, action plan. Okay, plan of steps. What are the steps you're going to take to reach there? Okay, and then within what time? So you decide what is the time that I'm going to do this, and reach there. And then when you take action on this plan, that's when you really start the journey to your goal. All right, so journey to your goal starts here. So your first question, right? The first part of your question, management expectation. So you can only set the management expectation if you know how to manage your expectations. And to manage your expectations, you need to have a goal, you need to have a plan, and you need to start taking action on them. And you need to make sure that it's following a system where you're tracking it and it's actually getting done. Got this? So yeah, the second part is employee productivity and loyalty. Now what happens is most people do this, right? You do this, right? As a business owner, you do this whole thing. And then what you understand is you need a certain mindset, you need a certain skill set, and you need a certain tool set to make this happen.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And what we do as business owners is we spend time learning to create our mindset. We know that we have certain skills lacking, so we go undergo training. We do these things, and we also build our tool set. The thing is, most people don't train their staff to have the same thing. So remember the old story where the CFO as a CEO is spending so much money on training, and what if they leave? The CEO asks back, what if we don't train them and they decide to stay? Got it. So you need to basically have your team also growing their mental capacity to actually be at the level that you are operating. And this is one of the favorite metaphors that I use. Imagine you're on a highway that has got 10 tracks, and there are 10 Ferrari cars parked. And since driving a sports car requires different set of skills than driving a normal street car, you go for training and you do all those things. And then one day you decide to call all your staff for a event out, and you give all of them a Ferrari car and put each of them in a Ferrari car. And then you say, okay, let's do something. So you're going to set a task, and the task is that all of you will drive the Ferrari car, and together you will cross the finish line. Okay. Now, what will happen to you who's trained? You will drive very fast, and you'll reach there first, but you're not able to cross the finish line because the rest of them have to catch up. And how fast do you think the race will finish? I mean, you can cross the finish line as fast as the slowest driver. The car is the same, right? But the skill set is not developed, the mindset is not. So you will find so many different situations in your company where there is a misalignment of these things. The moment you create the alignment, these things start falling in place, and you will see that slowly it works out. Now, where can you see an example of this? As chapter president, tell me, where do you see an example of this happening? In your BNI chapter, right? It's the same thing. You're setting an expectation for the chapter to perform, but you see that the members and their engagement levels are low. So what is the problem here? It's these three things. You see some people have the mindset, but they don't have the skills. Some people have the mindset, but they don't have the tools. So it's a combination of building these three together, and and it's unique for each person. So sometimes we have to have them go through mandatory training where it raises the skill set of everyone together. But some people will be having certain challenges where you might require some kind of personal coaching. Now, this is what I do in one-to-ones in this coffee with the ED. Why I'm keeping it restricted to 6 people? Because I want to ensure that I'm answering your individual concerns and taking it. Well, so there's no set and fast rule to it. It's about you taking notice of what is a challenge and taking action on it. And if there is anybody who's better than you, it's you. If there is anybody better than you to do it, yes, there are. There are people who are trained to identify such situations. That's where business consultants comes in. Those where mentors come in. There's where people who have that skill set to identify, look at these things from the outside the box and create that solutions comes in. They are trained. There are solutions to it, and they know how to implement the solutions. The thing for you will be to accept those solutions and actually implement it, because there will be nobody who will want to. Everyone wants to help the other person. Sometimes what happens is we end up doing the opposite because we don't have the right skill set or we don't have the right mindset. So this is something we really have to understand and focus our efforts on. I just have a small challenge with my system right now because my monitor's gone and it's coming back. I hope. Yes, it's come back. Right. Okay, so perfect. This is kind of give you a picture of the question.
The last portion is sorry, somebody else is talking.
No, you were saying something. Please go ahead.
The productivity, actually, managing productivity, and then driving the loyalty actually.
So loyalty is something that you cannot expect always, because there is a You know, a person can be very loyal to you, but he might not be helping you. Okay, there are people who, so look, think about this. Okay, there is two kind of people in your life, and you can also be two things in others' life. Either one of the things. You can either be a problem in somebody's life, or you can be a solution in their life. And you will see that there is a situation where people are very loyal, but they continue to be a problem in your life. So I would, you know, for me, it changed when I was, so somebody who, you know, a mentor, I would say, told me, Shavi, don't look for loyalty. Because if you are in trouble and you don't give salary for 2 months, you will see that these people who you believe are loyal are the first ones who will leave your company. Okay, because I'm not blaming anybody or I'm not trying to stereotype, but it's just a scenario that I've gone through. Then I asked him, okay, so what should we be really looking for? Look for sincerity. So what is being sincere called? Being sincere is not just about being commitment, but it's about being part of the solution. About being a part of the goal that you want to achieve. And he is ready to sincerely contribute to it. You will find a lot of people who are loyal but are not sincere in their contribution. Got it? So you really need to understand, is it loyalty that you're looking for or sincerity? Because if it is loyalty that you're looking for, it's very difficult to build. Got it? If it's sincerity that you're looking for, it's very easy to build because it's about the mindset, it's about creating the right culture, and it is something that can always be contributing in a positive way to your business. I've seen a lot of business owners who keep people who are very loyal to them for a long time, and these companies usually lose a lot of people. The loyal person is there for a long time, but more capable people come in, but they don't stay. They leave after a very short stint, very frustrated. The reason why, because a loyal person might not be as skilled as them, is not contributing as much as them to the bottom line, but has the ear of the owner. He's closest to the owner, and the owner listens to him, and he's able to manipulate the relationships in the company. But a sincere person will not do that. Are you looking for sincerity or loyalty? So my suggestion is start focusing on sincerity, and you might actually solve this and have an answer to this question yourself.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And one of the other reason what I find with the new generation, I don't think they want to grow faster, and they don't want to they don't stick to the company for long. They want just for a change, sometimes or something in a drive to say, okay, if I keep changing, then I grow faster and things like that. So is that in that scenario, is it something like you always keep a backup, or is it something like
So again, it's some of the mindset. The thing is, with the younger generation, what happens is there's too much distraction for them. There's too much information coming in them. If you look at our generation, the flow of information, we had time to process the information that was coming to us and try out things. The challenge with the current generation, what I see, even with us, I will include ourselves also with this current generation, because right now we are also facing the same problem that they are. There is too much information coming to us. There's too many success stories being fed to us that we start doubting what we are doing on a daily basis. We're not ready to wait and see where the long-term impact of our actions are going to take us. We're not ready to learn from what we are doing. I'm not saying that you have to make a lot of mistakes. What I'm saying is stay committed to the plan. Don't change the plan always. Change the plan if you see something is not working, even after 4 or 5 attempts. Even after fine-tuning, you see you're not going towards that plan, you basically change it. At that time, you need to change it, but you need to wait it out. Current scenario is with the load of information that is available to us, we are all looking for quick fixes. I mean, BNI also we say this, right? Innovation plus, I mean, traditions plus innovations. Understand the traditional way of doing things. Innovation is good, but you really need to pilot it out. Now, in an organization like BNI, what do you think? That there is a dearth of ideas. There's so many ideas that comes up every day. Even I get phone calls almost on a daily basis. Should you have an idea that we can change? And what do you think is happening at the HQ level when you have 280,000 people around the world?
Yeah.
The kind of things that comes through is huge, right? So what we do is, what the HQ has done is they have set a process to process this. What they say is, let's pilot it out first. Let's try it at a smaller level. And if it works and we see there's a progress being done, only then we'll actually spread it to the rest of the place after creating the training documents. So the new people, what happens is most of the time, we are good at telling them what is expected of them, but we are not very good at tracking what is expected of them.
Come again on this one.
We are very good at telling them what is expected, but not tracking what is expected. And they at the end of the day, they're not feeling challenged enough with the work culture within the company, which makes them leave faster. Now, is this problem existing everywhere? Yes, it is existing everywhere. So what is the percentage of retention that you're looking at? Again, I come back to BNI. In BNI, if you look at it, what we say is 70% retention in the chapter is fantastic. That means what we expect is 30% of people to actually not renew. Oh, is that a good thing? No, it's not a good thing. But the factor
20%
is
the retention and 30% is
people who will not renew, right? People who will leave. BNI chapters are what we see, right? Is that a good thing?
The BNI and all relates actually. So everything.
It's related to your company also. Look at it. How many people are retained? One thing that people really, I think, if there's any lesson for you to take away is, be more observant of what is happening in a BNI chapter, because there's a lot of lessons, a lot of takeaways for you to how to run your company.
Absolutely. In fact, the first thing, when we stepped in also, we just put that LT team goals, and then, we track to see what is there, and then trying to, obviously, trying to get that mindset of the team. Yeah, it should be more seriousness and all the stuff. And
and you realize it's a journey. Maybe you might not achieve in your term, but it's about how to take that journey forward so the next team can also incorporate into it. And you have seen me also, we are also working constantly to improve that. Same thing that happens in your company also. How do you create that mindset where people are retained? What makes them stay on? And it is unique for every person. You can't have one fixed solution. You can have a system that carries over the expectation of the majority of the people, which is why we say 70% retention is good because the system is working. But then how do you increase the 30%? That's where you go into the perfection. That's where you go into much more deeper level of work that helps you reach that.
And is there any exercise on the 30%? What can be made to improve more?
There's a lot of factors, but most of the time what we see is it is usually because the other person is not ready to engage. So, usually there are two kinds of people. Okay. The I want and the I can't. So you see people who say that I know what is to be done, but I won't do it. I won't do it, which means
attitude problem.
Attitude problem. Exactly. And you will see people who say, I want to do it, but I can't do it because I don't know how to do it. You can change the I can't. But I can't can be influenced externally, which is by our intervention. But I won't has to be changed internally. They have to change their mindset. Does this stop them from succeeding? No. They might succeed in some other place. But in a framework-driven, in a framework-driven model like a company, a BNI chapter, or anything, for example, even a community, even in your family, you see this, right? People who say, I want. There are people who are thrown out of the family who still succeed. Got it. There are people who are shunned by the society who still succeed because they're not ready to align with this, but there's somewhere else where their alignment is accepted and they can succeed.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So which is why we are saying don't be judgmental. The only thing what we're saying is, as long as you're saying I won't, we will continue to be problem in each other's life. Got it? So let's not be a problem. Let's move out of each other's life and find our successes elsewhere, so that we are actually, by not being in each other's life, we are solution in each other's life. Got it? But the I can't situation is where externally, like, okay, we want to stay together. Are you ready to change? If you're ready to change, this is what we can do. Right?
Yeah, like the I can't. I want actually the attitude. I understand. I can't. What are the factors do you feel?
So that's it. I can't. It's usually one of this: the mindset, the skill set, or the tool set. So what is it that you can help them to change their mindset? What is it that you can do to change the skill set? Or what is it that you can do to give them a better tool set to operate?
Okay. I can't just seem like I am unable to do it, or I need more info. Is that the same meaning? Or? Okay.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So I can't. I'm not able to do this because I don't know this. So it's like the I can't is usually because they don't have the knowledge. Don't have knowledge, or because they fear something. There's a fear. So usually if you take care of the fear or you give them the knowledge, they will actually go on to becoming I can. All right. Steve, anything you want to add on to what was asked? You're a human resource guy, so I think you might have something to say on this. Anything that you want to say? All right, if you're available. If not, we'll move on to the next session. You're welcome to unmute yourself. Right, so these two questions have been answered. Now, do you want to know the answers for any of these other questions over here? If that is the case, I can answer that. Otherwise, we can actually close the meeting. If you
business relationship with members who give.
That's the one which we answer for Steve. I'm talking about one. We answered 4 and 5. Any 1, 2, or 3. Do you want any one of these answered? Because the people who ask for it is not.
Client enhanced networking. Probably we can just touch base. Steve, you unmuted, is it?
Yes, I'm on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You want to touch? You want to add some points on the last discussion?
I'm satisfied with the answer given so far. I just need to go back to the drawing board and implement some of the points that have been highlighted, and then observe what results I get and see if there are other areas of improvement that needs to be touched.
So let me just tell you something. Right now, what you said is a fantastic thing, and I want to just make sure that you understand there's a framework around it also. Okay, I'll just give you something right now. So you have a goal, right? And what drives you towards that goal is a passion to achieve that goal, right? You have a goal and you have a passion. But most of the times, what happens is you need to achieve a goal or to fulfill your passion, you need to learn, right? You need to learn something new or learn to add on to your capability. So what happens is you build your knowledge.
Knowledge.
Right? Now you got knowledge. Now, so Steve, when I answered your questions, you got knowledge. Also, when I answer your questions, you got knowledge. Now, many people say that knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Taking action on knowledge is power. Okay. So what happens is on this knowledge, when you take action, okay, what do you get? You get a
output.
You get a result. All right. Now, the results can be of two types. It can be a negative result, or it can be a positive result. Right?
100%.
It can be a negative result or a positive result. And some people say this is, oh, you're a failure. You are a failure, right? That's what some people say. When you have positive results, what they say is, oh, you have succeeded, or you are
successful.
The right thing. You're success. No, you're a success right now. You're success
Okay.
in creating the result, positive result. So what happens is in both these cases, for me, success is stopping to do what you're doing. Then what is being successful is taking this positive result, learning from it and doing it again and again, which makes you successful and really good in creating that result. So being successful is finding one way how things work and repeating it so many times that it starts making immense value for you. If you ask me what is business, it's the same thing. If you ask me what is athletics, it's the same thing. If you ask me what is research, it's the same thing. So you take any industry, any activity you're doing, it's driven by a goal and your passion. You learn from it. You get knowledge. You take action on it. You create a result. If you create one-time positive result, you become successful. That's why many people are they have great success in dieting once, but they don't maintain that successfully, that weight successfully, because they don't repeat what they're doing. Okay, so now you are smiling, right? You understand what I'm telling you right now. So what is failure? You do something, it doesn't work, and you stop doing it. You don't go behind that goal. So what drives it? How can you change that? Even from the negative result, you learn. And whatever knowledge you gain now, you take again action, and the result to go towards your goal. This is what I define as wisdom. You become wiser. And this is why you say that failure makes you wiser, right? A lot of people know how not to do things than how to do something, right? And they have a joke about consultants. Consultants tell you how not to do it because they have tried and they have failed. Yeah. That's what we say about consultants. The thing is, to find successful consultants is very difficult because that's where the situation comes in. So this is very important to understand. So Steve, the knowledge that you got, you have to take action. The result might be positive, might be negative. Learn from it, increase your knowledge, keep doing it till you reach the goal. There is a way. It's just that it's not clear for you right now. And it's about asking people who are, so I have done it now enough times where I believe there is a certain level of wisdom in which what I'm able to share with you. If you ask me whether I know everything, no, I don't know everything. Okay, still, I come from a mindset of not knowing. If there is something that I know, let's make it sure that there's much more I don't know about it. Okay, that's still hidden from me. I still need to reach out to. So that's the thing. So if something is not working, just understand that there's still much more that you still don't know. You just need to find out what is it that you do, and then keep working on it. Right. Yeah. So I hope this works.
Drive is always
helps you take it forward. Exactly. All right. So any of these other questions that you want answers? Otherwise, I will. I'll cover this when they are participating in the future.
Yeah, building and maintaining effective relationship with the clients, how to connect international members, enhancing
enhanced networking, because they just put words, and without understanding the perspective of what they were actually meaning from that question, I wouldn't be able to answer it well. So if I have answered the questions for the two of you, and you don't have
regarding the international
members, okay,
yeah,
good. You want to know that, right?
I think I have a little issue with that.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So what you do is you basically have to.
I think sorry for just adding a point also. I think that also will help Steve a lot. Since in manpower to connect with a lot of different countries, will be adding a lot.
One of the best people who can show it to you is Ayman, because Ayman is very successful in doing this right now with his business and how he's doing. I think he's getting more business internationally than locally right now. So you can talk to them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take up my screen on my mobile and I'm going to show you how to do it using your BNI Connect app. Okay. So Steve, there's a BNI in BNI University. There's a course called BNI Connect, and if you're actually using that, it shows how you can actually develop your international connects. I'm just going to share this on my phone screen.
Yeah, actually, people really don't utilize the full potential of BNI. What tools are there, what information. Actually, that university is, oh my God, massive.
It's huge, right? It's massive.
Yeah.
So Steve, if you go to your screen, you'll see that there is, this is your home screen, which shows how much you have given and how much you have received. On top of this, you go to search. Now you are in recruitment, right?
Yes.
And which country do you want to basically kind of travel to today? If I may ask. Which country do you want to travel to today?
Let's say India, for example.
India. All right. So India is, okay, first I'll show you the big challenge you'll have.
So I'm just in mobile, or it's like it's the same thing happens in when you connect in the laptop or the website link.
Laptop website also you can do this, but this is on the mobile. So when I just put recruitment as a keyword and I searched India, I'm getting exact matches 217 people. Okay, now from India, now obviously you don't want to find from entire India. There's a city that you want to go to. Which city do you want to travel to?
Say that again.
Which city in India are you trying to get it connected?
Say Bangalore.
Bangalore. So Bangalore. Okay, and then you search. Now what happens is you will see 27 exact matches for recruitment. Got it. And then when you click over here on the arrow on the right side, you'll see that their business is there, but usually they don't have their contacts over here. So what you can do is you can actually connect with them going to your app, to the website. In the website, there is something called My Network, which I'll show you right now. Now in this, you can see Anandan E has shared his email ID. So we can actually send him an email ID.
Their contacts are there.
Yeah.
If you click on this, where you have the email icon.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Should be
That's what I did. This is, he has only his email ID. Now, some people, they have their phone number also here. So provided they update their profile properly, they start getting the phone calls, which is why we keep telling people, please update your profile properly with complete details so that people can actually get in touch with you when they want to develop business. Now, Anjay Panzal, you'll see that he's employment activity specialist, people source consulting. What does he do? And all those things is there. So there are 27 prospects over here. You can just start saving their numbers and so on, and then see how they can actually be a part of your network. Now, I know this Ernst Talent is basically also based in Qatar. They have an office in Qatar, but they have membership in BNI Bangalore because they're basically sourcing a lot of people from Bangalore for their clients in Qatar. There's a lot of other people also in this. Yeah. So this is how you actually connect. Now, let's say it's not India. You want to go to actually Slovenia. Okay, Slovenia recruitment. And if you click on this, you actually see that it's taking some more time than I expected for the search. Server seems to be offline, so some connectivity.
Server is offline, yeah.
No, it's some connectivity. So now you see there are 250 people who are in recruitment things, but I think the search is not right. So we can put human. So maybe recruitment is not something that they are actually looking at. So we put as human resources. Then we search. It's a connectivity issue with my network. So now you see human resources. There is one person. You can contact him for Slovenia. Of course, he's put it in his own language, so you might need to use Google Translate to copy this and understand what he's written. Right. So I hope this answers your question about that international connect. Now, what can you do to do it? You got to do that one-to-ones. If you're not doing that one-to-ones, if you're not reaching out, it doesn't work. So do that.
And one more thing, how about attending, say, cross-chapter meetings on the on the BNI?
In Qatar, we highly recommend that you can attend up to 2 times maximum, is what we say. But we highly recommend you look at who is your counterpart in that chapter and network with them first and have them invite you into the chapter meeting. Just know how the chapter is. Because you know that we have a policy of having only one category per chapter, right? So if your category is already taken or somebody else has a challenge with that, it's best that you reach out to your counterparts in the other chapter before you actually go there. Now, if you look at, if you are basically, you're in the Royals chapter, right? But Naveen has got members in, he's got a membership in the Pioneers as well as in the Winners chapter through Arvind and Shashi. right? Shashi, yeah, Shashi. So you could actually contact Naveen and ask, can you please ask Arvind to please register me for one of the Pioneer meeting as a visitor. You can ask Shashi to register for the winners, and then kind of go that way. You can also, now nobody's going to be be offensive with you if you register yourself using the visitor option in your mobile. So in the visitor option in your mobile, you can actually I'm just going to share this and show you once again.
Actually, one thing which I which I would like also is the conflicting categories.
Yeah,
If they actually, they also have a lot of potential to work together, which they don't realize.
there is a lot of potential to collaborate, but they don't realize it. But the problem is, you just need to have the right conversation.
Yeah.
So you click on visitors, Steve. You can click on myself, and then you can actually visit almost any chapter around the world, provided they are online, and then go ahead. So right now you can see that if you click Qatar and then you click the region Doha, you will see that all the chapters come up. So in your list, all the other chapters will come up. Now, if you want to visit Dubai, you can do that. So you can go to UAE, United Arab Emirates. There are so many regions over here. So West to Central Dubai, and then you will see that these chapters are there. Then you have Dera Dubai, where there are these many chapters. And then you have New Dubai, where there are these many chapters. So you can basically visit all these chapters through the app. Click, and then you will basically get the link. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So, perfect. Any other questions that I can help you with?
I think it's all good. Only one thing is, I think it's not totally on this subject. Last time we had Mahmood who visited us from Metido. He was declared as observer. How was that actually?
He was declared as observer because Ayman basically brought him as a visitor for launching his new chapter.
Sorry?
Ayman brought him as a visitor, and Ayman wants to use him for launching his new chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why he was. Ayman is basically using him to launch the new chapter.
Okay.
So you will have launch directors in your chapter who will be bringing observers, and Ayman is moving on to launching his next chapter in Qatar. So he brought on Metido as an observer so that he can use him for the new chapter. So it happens all the time.
Okay.
But, that's how new chapters also grow. The launch directors. Now you'll see that when there's a launch director in your chapter who's going to launch a new chapter, you'll see a lot of the open categories in your chapter coming as visitors. But the fact is, it's not from his personal network. So the Metido person would not have come from the personal network of Ayman, but from the network of somebody else in the core group of the new chapter.
Okay.
You understand that? So usually the launch directors, they bring their personal contacts in the open categories to their chapters itself. But when they're launching a new chapter, they take people who are from known open categories in your chapter and they create the core group, and they start inviting people from their circle, and those people might be actually from your open categories. But the fact is they're being invited for the other chapter.
Okay.
All right, so that's where it gets declared as an observer and they go into the other chapter. So, and this is a good eye opener for you. So, because what you have to realize is that your chapter members are still not opening their eyes to the categories that are open in the chapter. And suddenly when you saw, there's an open category who is going to other chapter, why is that? It's because the core member in that other chapter has identified this person as a possible member in that chapter, has invited him to observe a chapter meeting and then come into their chapter. What's stopping your members from doing it?
Yeah.
That's a question you need to look at.
What we usually witness is, when we bring in a lot of visitors, I think, people really are interested to join actually. That's what.
It's just that your network, people are not growing their personal networks. They think, this is a misunderstanding that most people have, that when they come into BNI, they can stop working outside of BNI. What we're saying is, do not stop networking outside of BNI. Keep networking outside of BNI. But the fact is, when the magnitude of it. So if you are spending, let's say you are making 10 cold calls a month, you can reduce it to 3. But the 3 is important because if every one of you is not doing the minimal amount, the network is not actually growing. What you're doing is you're crowdsourcing these efforts. Where you were doing 10, now you can do 3, but 3 multiplied by 30 is 90. That is what has to keep happening. You don't stop entirely making cold calls or stop making prospecting outside of BNI. You continue it, but at a lower magnitude. And then you trust your fellow members to use the system to feed their prospecting into your pipeline, and you also feed your prospecting into their pipeline. So that you start developing the network. Okay.
Okay. No.
Right. Any other questions that you might be having at this stage? You're more than welcome to come for future coffee meetings. You can just register yourself with your questions. But I hope I was able to answer the most pertinent questions. What I would need as a favor from all of you is to give a feedback of this meeting back to your chapter.
Yeah.
And maybe Tulsi in the goodness task was also saying that, you know, some of the questions that you had needed clarity on was given more clarity. If I have answered it completely, I'm not sure. That's for you to let me know. But yeah, you did get more clarity. And please encourage people to come for these meetings. The slots always starts, you know, I have programmed my calendar in a way where it opens up every, like 60 days forward, whichever is the open days, it comes automatically on board. So you can have members just look into that and book themselves up for the slots that's coming up. Okay. All right, guys, all the best. Thank you so much for coming on a Saturday morning. But just before you go, I would like to just have you share one most important takeaway that you had from this session. So what's one takeaway you had from this session, Tulsi? And it could be anything, no problem.
Yeah, for me, I think, you know, just I want to refresh more of the management expectations, and then, you know, the goals, and then, you know, the required, the mindset, and you know, how to achieve that goals, and also about the retention factor and all this stuff, you know, just to get an idea on your what is it, analytics is very important also to know where we are, so how much it's okay and all this stuff. So obviously there's a lot to learn also from BNI for the company, for sure. So we keep.
I'll tell you an example of this loyalty sincerity, especially in the BNI scenario. You'll see that there are members who don't perform well, but they are allowed to renew because they are very loyal to the chapter. Got it. But then you have members who are very sincere. They want the system to work. Which one is more valuable for you? Members who are loyal and not performing, or members who are really sincere and want the system to work?
Yeah, absolutely, sincerity.
But that's the difference between loyalty and sincerity, just to give you a perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Steve, what's your takeaway from today? You're muted. You're muted. Steve, you're muted. You need to unmute.
It's a very impactful one. And I want to thank you for your valuable time. And also thanking Mr. Todasalam for his time as well, and all the participants. There are a lot of take home, if you ask me, because when you look at what you call the wisdom diagram, there is a lot. Like one is the attitude and the step which you take towards ensuring that you actualize this goal or target. So, and going back or going forward, I have evaluated myself and see the areas where I need to improve on to ensure that those goals are achieved. These are my basic take-homes for the day.
So now you have the mindset. You need to have the skill set and the tools, right? Excellent. Fantastic work, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate this. I'll stop the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.